What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. We're about 3.5 weeks or so post-Olympia now. And first of all, we're just going to say that, like, the buzz is starting now. Phil Heath is doing interviews with all different news outlets, which he's never done before because he was them at AMI. Sean Rhoden is already traveling as Mr. Olympia. He went to the, I believe, the Prague show, and he's heading to, like, the Amateur Olympias to show up and represent the Mr. Olympia title. So things are changing, right? Things already are different in the bodybuilding industry or bodybuilding world than they were 3 weeks ago. A lot of changes. Ruli being top 3 now gives him more clout. Dexter slipping out of that, top couple of spots. Rami slipping out of the top 5. Like, it really did kind of change the scope of things to where some people now believe, like, look, maybe I can win. Like, Ruli now believes, and, Jay Cutler even said flat out that he believes that Ruli Winkler could one day be a Mr. Olympia from what he's seen so far. Until the Olympia this year, none of this stuff was going on. It was the same old thing where we had a host of athletes that were all chasing Phil, who was on the top of the mountain. And, for years, Phil was just that dominant. Okay, so I think that people forget how dominant Phil was. Phil had gotten his straight first place votes from the judges before, where they walked him off stage and literally left second through 16th place or whatever on stage to compete for those final spots. Like, he was super dominant. So now we have what some would say is not the best Phil Heath we've seen. Some would say he was the best that we've seen. I think if you ask Phil, he would tell you, like he's done in interviews, that he improved. So he felt like he was better than he was before, but also everyone else improved. The Rami didn't improve. Like, so many factors went into this year, but the main buzz that I'm hearing now, and the night of, okay, I think the big reaction was, holy shit, Sean Rhoden beat Phil Heath. Like, that was a thing. Like, Phil lost. Holy shit. And I think that Phil losing the title has actually overshadowed Sean winning a little bit. The night of when he won, I think it was like, holy shit, Sean Rhoden. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And then the next day, I think it really sunk in that, wait a minute, Phil didn't win. So everybody went from the excitement of Sean winning, and it was something new and different, and they were excited to see something different happen at the Olympia, to holy shit, wait a minute, Phil lost. What's the next move? And then everybody started concentrating on what is Phil's next move, right? So they're wondering, what's going on with Phil Heath? What's going on with Phil Heath? Not really, even wondering what's going on with Sean. I don't think Sean's done any real interviews or anything like that yet while Phil's doing all these interviews, so it's kind of overshadowed that. But the new thing kind of creeping in, like Sunday. So Saturday this happened. Sunday, the people started to talk a little bit in Vegas about, what if Kai came back next year? Will Kai come back? Could Kai come back? Kai. And I'm sitting there going, this is Sean's moment, right? And Phil, even though he got second place, it's still his moment. And Ruli, it's his moment because, you know what? He won the People's Champ thing, moved up to third place. So all those guys that did well, it was their moment. And all of a sudden we have someone that wasn't even on stage, and they're starting to talk about whether or not that person is going to come kick everyone's ass next year. Now, here's the deal. I do not believe Kai Greene will be at the Olympia next year. And this is just my personal opinion. The Olympia means a lot to Kai. I wouldn't say it means everything to Kai because he has a lot of other stuff going on, but it means a lot to Kai to be the best bodybuilder in the world. Now, Kai was extremely dominant up until the time he stopped competing. He was winning Arnold Classics. He won all those shows. I mean, he was like won the Ironman. He won pretty much everything out there except for the Olympia. And his thing was he was battling a prime Phil Heath, still on his way up, improving, making leaps and bounds every year, and he could not beat Phil, right? So he wanted the Olympia title, which was important, but I think chasing the Olympia title, beating Phil became just as important, if not more important, getting in Phil's head and beating Phil than actually winning the Olympia. Now, Phil Heath has already stated that he will not come back in 2019 because he's going to have the surgery and stuff done with his abdomen again. So he may be sitting out 2019. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where he has the surgery now, everything's going good, he's like, fuck it, let's roll. Or if he's going to take that time off and say, if Phil is not doing the Olympia, I don't see Kai coming back to grab that title. I could see Kai only coming back if Phil regained the title to come after Phil to get that title. I don't think that Kai would want to beat a subpar Phil Heath, right? Someone who has been injured. I don't think that Kai would want to beat Sean Rhoden because he's already beaten Sean many times, right? He's beaten him at the Arnold Classic. He's beaten him at the Olympia. He's beaten him so many times. It's like, why would you come try to beat the guy that you've already beaten so many times and take that title when there was really one guy stopping you over and over again, and that's the guy you wanted to get through, the guy you had to get through. So, like, it kind of doesn't make any sense. Like, if Kai wants that trophy just to have the trophy and have the title, then I guess that makes sense. But, honestly, I never think about these guys specifically going after titles. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys say, well, I want to be the best. But it's also about getting there, too. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And to beat the best, you have to be the best. Now, if you have a subpar Rami, you have, Ruli, who I honestly feel Kai will beat hands down. You have Sean Rhoden, who Kai's already beat many times, who's the title holder right now. It almost seems like a forgiven that they would give it to him, right? But here's the thing. The judges made a very clear distinction this year, as in years past, that it's not about mass. It is not about as much mass as you can throw on your frame. It is now about mass, symmetry, even presentation, which Kai has great presentation. But when you stand Kai next to Sean Rhoden, if they want that streamlined waistline and they want a more aesthetic look with mass, like the mass with class, guess what? There's a good possibility Sean Rhoden could beat Kai based on that. Kai can come in big as shit and hard as nails. When they start hitting those poses and stuff, Kai has some strange poses. Maybe they would still go with the aesthetic look. I don't know. But the bottom line is, guys, Kai has moved on to things that are like, he's on ESPN, he's in Stranger Things. He has so much stuff going on, the graphic novels and stuff that he does. Like, he's really enjoying himself. And he does stay in shape, and he does stay big, right? And I think a lot of people are like, well, Kai's still like 300 pounds. I don't think Kai's 300 pounds, right? I think he's still very, very big and very lean. But if you stood him on stage right now, it's not the best Kai Greene we've ever seen. And why would Kai want to come back unless he could be the best Kai Greene he's ever been? Makes no sense to come back at 80%, 90%, 85%, 95%, and try to win the Olympia. I think Kai would actually have to buckle down for a whole year, give it everything he's got, because this would probably be the last chance to do it, right? Between his age and the factor that he's tried so many times, failing over and over again, one more failure to get that title, I think it would go against his legacy. It would upset him, it would piss him off, which is why he left in the first place, because he was tired of banging his head against something that wasn't going to move, right? They weren't going to take the title away from Phil and give it to Kai because they didn't like Kai's physique compared to Phil, period. So and he knew it, so he kind of left. Now, why would he come back to do that? Would it be for the fans? Like Jay Cutler came back for the fans in 2013, I believe it was, after the bicep tear, after having it reattached, came back for the fans, and was a much downsized Jay Cutler, was not the best Jay Cutler that we've ever seen, but he did it for the fans, right? He truly did it for the fans in his heart. Now, Kai would be coming to win the Olympia for the first time. Kai would be coming for blood. So for the fans would actually have to take a back seat, and he would have to concentrate so much on being the best Kai Greene that he could ever be at 40-something years old. Not saying it can't be done, because Rhoden just did it. But to do that and give up whatever opportunities he's got going on right now doesn't make any fucking sense, especially once you've made peace with the fact that, look, I just am not going to be Mr. Olympia. Fuck it, I have all this other shit going on, contracts being thrown at me, all this other stuff that will let me enjoy my life now. I have destroyed my body for the last fucking 25 years. I've won all these titles. I'm an Arnold Classic winner here in America, in fucking Australia, all these other fucking places. He's a legend. He's going to go down as a legend and one of the best posers, the most entertaining guy of all time. That Mr. Olympia title could be the personal goal that just sits on his shoulder like the little devil and tells him, like, you got to do this, you got to do this. Meanwhile, the angel's going, listen, you have so much shit going on right now. You're doing so fucking well. You're happy, you're excited. You got to get the title, the title, the title. And that title has eluded many bodybuilders in the past, like Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone. And eventually, every one of them had to let go and not let it eat at them, right? Because you just self-destruct. Each one of them has to have to go off and do different things as well. So I do not feel personally that Kai will be back in 2019 if Phil Heath is not there. If Phil is there, I think he would want to beat Phil. But let's say Phil shows up and he's not 100% Phil Heath. Now Kai goes, let's just say for shits and giggles, Rhoden is off for some reason, right? Or Rhoden gets an injury, or Rhoden decides, you know what, I'm going to retire, whatever the fuck happens, right? And there's Phil again and Kai again, and fucking Kai's trying to get through Phil, and he does at a not 100% Phil Heath, who already get beat by Sean Rhoden. That gives Sean the clout of knocking the champ off and being the best. you beat a subpar Phil Heath. You know, like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for Kai to come back and do that. Now, if Phil comes back at 100% and Kai goes after him and loses, now you have someone that came back, wasted all that time. Yeah, you get a check, but what he's doing right now, he's making money. So it doesn't make any sense. And, you know, all the fans want to see it. They want to see that rematch, right? We wanted to see more rematches with fucking Dorian and Flex and Dorian and Kevin and Dorian and Sean. We wanted to see more rematches with Jay and Ronnie. Fuck, if we could have, we would have watched Jay and Ronnie compete till they were 50 years old, banging heads, just them two. And we do want to see Kai and Phil bang heads again. See, everybody wants to see that, right? But I just don't think that that is going to be a reality anytime soon. BioStreetTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.BioStreetTraining.com is a blog. It's the Kai's not coming back bicep, and we are out.